Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 220, and I'm going to do a rebroadcast of an earlier podcast that I did that I think is so relevant for now and for the webinars that I'm doing and the new program that I am creating. Enjoy. Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 171. I want to talk to you about creating the mindset of thinner peace. Stay tuned. Hello, all my dear friends, and I do feel like you are friends. I've heard from so many of you. I feel like I can see you now when I'm talking. And it makes it so much more personal. So thank you for your letters. Thank you for all your kind words. Thank you for all your reviews, which reminds me, since I have so many downloads on this podcast, I don't have as many reviews as I do downloads or subscribers. So if I'm talking to you and you are loving my podcast and creating thinner peace in your mind, maybe losing weight, maybe feeling better and stronger every single day, then I want you to go on iTunes and please write a review. It really is your way of saying thank you to me, if you would like to say thank you to me. But it really does help my podcast get heard by more and more people. So if you found this podcast recently, it's probably because of all the reviews and it gets more attention. So please do the same thing. Pass it forward if you would, please. I would so appreciate it. Today, we want to talk about really my logo, which is called Thinner Peace. I love the name because I love what it means to me and I want to pass it on to you. And then I want to tell you how you can create it for yourself and give you some tools to do it today. So this is a really, really important podcast if Thinner Peace is something that you would like to create. So this is what I think it means. And if you look at the way that I write it, or if you look at my logo, it's TH in little letters. I don't think they're called little letters. I can't think of it. And the inner, INNER, are in capital letters. So it looks like the inner peace. And I really believe, especially during menopause and especially after, it's time to create inner peace in your mind and in your body surrounding your weight, food, and your body. If you can't have it now, do you really want to go to your deathbed thinking about how do I look? Seriously. I mean, I'm joking about it, but it's really not a joke because I know for so many of my clients, it's just so much up in the front of their head and it creates so much conflict. So the reason behind the inner peace or thinner peace is that it's not just about having a thin body. I'm not here just to teach you how to get thin. I have all the faith in the world that you know how to get thin. You just have a lot of struggles around doing it on a regular basis because it's not peaceful. So my goal for you in my podcast and my coaching is to help you create peace in your mind and be as thin as you want, whatever the weight is that you want to be, but to create peace around it. That really is it, because you know, and I know, that you have probably been at many weights that you thought would be exactly what you were wanting, and you got there and you still weren't at peace and you went right back up. Why? Because it didn't feel as good as you thought it was going to. Because listen, losing weight is never going to give you what you're really looking for. Trust me on this. And for most of you, you already know this. For those of you who have worked with me or are going to work with me or have been in groups with me, you have learned this. And so it's very, very important that you learn how to be at peace with yourself wherever you are right this minute, in whatever body shape you are in right this minute or in this next episode. I'll give you 20 minutes. But I think it's really important. And as I was creating this podcast, what I really wanted to drive home to you and get my point across was that I would say with all the women that I've worked with over the years, what I would say, if you would read my testimonials on my website, what you would find more than anything than, oh my God, I lost 1,000,000 pounds. You're going to read, this changed my life. It wasn't about the food. It's all about the food, but it's not about the food. That's what you're going to read over and over and over again. And I think that's because what happens through the coaching that I do and the programs that I do is that I teach you how to create that peace within yourself, not just about your body, not just about food, but about everything in your life. That's why it's not just about the food. That's why it can be life-changing, because really, what do we all want? We want to be at peace in our life. We want to be at peace with the circumstances as they are in our life right now, which means whatever your weight is, whatever it is that you're doing today, whoever it is that you happen to wake up next to, whatever job you happen to be going to, all of that is a choice in your mind about how you want to feel about it. And this is what I know for sure. The more peaceful you feel in your body, the easier it is to control the food that you put in your mouth, because you become so much more aware of what you're thinking when you're in a peaceful state. And this is what I know for sure. Most of the women that come to me, I would say the major thought that creates the most amount of conflict for them is that they don't believe that they can trust themselves, especially around food. And I will tell you what, you can, you will, and I have a feeling by the end of this podcast, you are going to be on your way to learning how to trust yourself again. Because I know that in many areas of your life, you totally trust yourself. But I also know that you doubt yourself a lot in many areas of your life, because what you do in one part of your life, you also do in other parts of your life. It's not like it's separate. So wherever you find that you can trust yourself, you want to use that mindset to help you with the things that you don't think that you can trust yourself. So let's talk a little bit about food. And remember that when I'm talking about food, you can interject anything. You can interject your husband. You can interject your job. You can interject anything and still realize that your thoughts about that circumstance is what is creating the feeling that you're having right now. If you don't like the feeling that you have, it's because you're creating it with the thought that you're thinking. And the beauty of that is that is up to you. You can change it anytime. You may not be able to change your husband. And if you've been trying, you probably notice it's not working. But you can change the way that you think about him or that relationship. And you can create peace in this moment by the time you're through with this podcast. So if someone were to say to me, what exactly do you do, Dr. Deb? How can you help me? What I would say in one sentence is I help you learn to have mastery over your mind to create peace in every area of your life. That is really what I do. And I love it when that was so good. I have to write that down someplace. But if that's what you're wondering about, and the reason that I offer these 30-minute mini sessions that are for free is because I want to show you how to do that. I can show you in 30 minutes how to do that. And to me, I love to do that, regardless if you hire me as your coach or not. I'm good either way. But I know I can teach you something about mastering your mind that seriously would probably change the way you see your life forever. I've heard it before. For a lot of you who have been listening and have not scheduled a mini session with me, what are you waiting for? If you think it's going to be high pressure, then I'm going to pressure you about my individual program. You're right and you're wrong. Here's what you're right about. I am going to tell you about my individual program because I think it rocks and I know how good it is. So of course I'm going to tell you about it. Now, am I going to pressure you about it? No, because I don't want you doing an individual program with me unless you're all in, right? So at best, if we have a mini session together, the best thing that'll happen is you'll come away knowing that the mastery of your mind is up to you. And to me, I'm good with that. Totally good with that. So if you have been holding back on a mini session with me, maybe now is the time to do it. I have heard people even write me and say they don't think they're ready because they haven't lost enough weight yet. Or they're not where they think they need to be before they talk to me. Like, the reason you want to talk to me is so I can help you get to where you want to go, not because you're already there. Think about it. So if you haven't done this simple action of scheduling a mini session with me, I only do 3 a week. I open up my schedule for 3 30-minute sessions a week to 3 people who would really like to make some sort of change in their thinking or in their life now. And 30 minutes is all it really takes to do that. No pressure, no sales, just you and me talking just like I'm talking to you now and helping you individually with one thing that's really bothering you. Go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. Schedule that session. I only do 3 a week. Okie dokie. Now back to what I was talking about mastery of the mind. I totally got sidetracked. But here's the deal. I want to do 2 things. I'm going to read you a blog that I wrote like a year ago about this initial thinner piece and how you create it, and an incident that happened with a bunch of my friends when we went out to dinner. And it was really so funny to me. And at the same time, I felt so compassionate that I really wanted to share it with everybody. And then I want to give you some tools today that you can use to start helping you create the mindset of thinner peace. First, I'm going to read you my blog that I wrote about my friends, and they're good with it, and how they were using their minds against them, and how you can change how you think just by listening to this. Here is my blog, and it's called Please Pass the Bread. I'm a bright, intelligent woman. I surround myself with bright, intelligent women. So why in the world, when I am out with them, do they ask me to hide the bread or move the dessert away from them? Do they actually believe that if the bread is too close, it will jump in their mouth? Well, I'm sorry to report, but the answer is yes. These same women that run businesses and save lives think that if they're too close to these bad foods, they cannot control themselves. Oh, the horror of the mind when it does whatever it wants, because that's exactly what is happening. The mind thinks the thought, I can't control myself around certain foods, and before you know it, you are out to prove it. And I believe the smarter you are, the stronger your mind. It's either working for you or against you. I love helping brilliant women use their brilliance to help themselves, not as ammunition against themselves. I used to think like this. I wouldn't keep these foods around. I wouldn't sit too close to them. I wouldn't put them on my plate. I would restrict and deprive myself for months because I thought I couldn't control myself any other way. I was wrong. I can. And I know you can too. Are you ready to use your brilliance to help you get what you really, really, really want? I help unbelievably smart women learn this little secret. Your mind lies to you 24/7. So you better be ready to discipline it and set it straight. If you can run a company, save a life, educate and raise children, you can discipline your mind. If you think you can, you can. This is the only way to permanent weight loss. Trust me. I wrote that about a year ago and I still love it and it still rings true. And if you're one of these women who believe what these women, smart women, I mean, really, anytime I go out to dinner with women or I'm with women at a table with food, there is invariably somebody, one or two, that you can see is so uncomfortable with having certain foods around them. And that, my darling listeners, is not thinner peace. That is not what I want for you. I want you to be able to be wherever you want to be at any table, with any food, with anything in your refrigerator, with anything in your closet, your pantry. And know without a doubt, you don't have to eat it unless you want to. And that is the deciding factor. Not can you or can't you? I can't have it. God, you know that thought, I can't have it, will make you eat it. I can't have it. Poor me. Poor me. All the thin people in the world, they can do whatever they want. They can have anything they want, but I can't have it. And then what do? When you feel deprived, you go in the closet and you eat it. And you don't eat just a little bit. You eat all of it, right? Because you're never going to eat it again. That's what that thought does. That is not thinner peace. This is what I want you to try to do and to think about it. Now, I know a lot of diet gurus out there will tell you when you're ready to start your new program, clean out your kitchen, clean out your refrigerator, and get rid of all the bad foods because they believe, just like you, that you can't be trusted. I don't want you to do that. This is what I want you to do. If you decide today, or if you've already decided that you're going to become a mindful, loving woman to yourself, then this is what I want you to do today. Keep everything in your house. Keep everything in your refrigerator. And if somebody like your husband or your kids, they have foods that you think are bad, that you can't trust yourself around, you believe, I want you to keep it there. And not only that, I want you to put it in the front of the refrigerator. This is what I just told one of my clients who said, well, I'm going to get rid of these certain cupcakes. I'm going to at least put them in the back of the refrigerator because I don't want them staring at me every time I look in the refrigerator. And I thought to myself, and I said to her, what are you talking about? That means to say that wherever you are in life, if you see something, you are going to do something that you don't want to do just because it's in front of your face. Believe me, you don't do that. But you don't think about it either. And that is how you need to be around this stuff, is more mindful so that when your mind zips around and go, uh-oh, there are the potato chips, and we know about potato chips. You can't be trusted. They are going to just float in your mouth, the whole bag. We know it already. We know it. So get rid of them if you're going to start a new program. How would you like to think, oh, there's a bag of potato chips in my pantry. So what? If I want them, I'll eat them. If I don't want them, I won't eat them. And there is a deciding, distinct difference when do I or don't I want them, as opposed to can I or can I not have them? Am I allowed to have them? Oh my God, tell a grown woman she's not allowed to eat something. We're grown, we're brilliant. We know we can eat anything we want. All we got to do is just put our hand in it and eat it. It's pretty easy, right? So the only thing that really works is when we take the power back and we say to ourselves, I don't want it. That will not make me feel good. That will not give me what I want today. Maybe later. That's all. Think about the difference. One creates thinner peace and one creates great conflict and distrust. Which one do you want? Well, if you're thinking thinner, peace is what you're looking for, then you start working on the thoughts that I'm talking about by seeing what you've been thinking all along. So if it's like, oh, don't keep the bread next to me, you know what's going to happen. Like, what? What's going to happen? Oh, those rolls are going to float right into my mouth and I'm going to have 5 of them and I won't even know what happened. That's like what's up in your head. Crazy stuff. You're not going to do that anymore. Or you're going to be aware when you do think it, and you are going to become the master of your mind to think, Do I or don't I want to continue to think this? And the least thing you can do is say, I don't think I want to think this anymore. Even if you can't think anything else in the moment, you become aware of what it is that's driving you. And I will tell you this is the very beginning of creating thinner peace in your mind, in your body, and in your life. If this sounds good to you, please go to my show notes today because I have the blog on Please Pass the Bread Basket. You can read it, you can print it, you can share it. Be my guest. Also, if you have not reviewed my podcast, please review it. drdebbutler.com/iTunes. I would really appreciate it. And the next person who gets to hear it because it was in their face, because of all your reviews, will thank you also. So, wishing you thinner peace, wishing you more than anything, self-kindness from yourself, thinner peace and self-kindness. May you have a beautiful, beautiful week. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast with my wife, Dr. Deborah. I've enjoyed working with her and living with her. That's right, we work and live together for 40 years, more than 40 years. It's amazing how time flies. And it's been like a little tree growing in the yard, and now it's a big tree, our love. So I would like to invite you to correspond with Dr. Deborah. Go to iTunes, drdebbutler.com/iTunes. And you can review the show, and you can even give some helpful suggestions on what you would like to talk about in the future to accomplish your mindfulness and your journey into mindfulness. Thank you.